Hi guys, we're popped down.
Happy Sabbath
Yeah.
by the time you're watching this. So just to bring you guys up to speed,
We had a long week.
we took the time to record this video, largely because we want you guys to understand the reality of life, that it's not always up. Sometimes it's down, you know.
And I think one of the things with us being consistent and constantly putting out real clean Christian content and having these conversations is that we're not afraid of being authentic, and we're not afraid of showing you the times when we really pop down and just dealing with life, you know.
In this video, we're going to tell you guys about just some lessons we've learned along the way and where we are now with our 4-month update. But just to let you guys know where we're at 4 months in. What happens when high school lovebirds get married?
They move to a new city and start a YouTube channel, of course.
Welcome to Adventures of XYZ. I'm Xaundre.
And I'm Zara.
I'm a doctor.
And I'm a lawyer.
But we both just really love sharing our faith and going on cool adventures.
So we created this channel to share our journey as we attempt to use biblical principles to navigate life.
And have a whole lot of fun doing it.
So, come along with us!
But honestly though, marriage has been amazing. I don't know that we have any issues there. Let me let her speak for herself, but I mean, I certainly have no issues there. In fact, it's been the peace through all of this chaos. But life has been lifing, you know, especially working so many hours. And even though work is from like 8 to 4, sometimes I'm still not coming home until 8 p.m. because just the amount of work that's there, and then it's kind of hard to just leave people that, you know, need to be admitted and things happening with them. And as a side note, if you're going to have kids, please don't conceive them around November, December thereabout, and certainly not January, February, because then the peak season is crazy when it comes time to have them. Do it for your own sake too, because you might be sitting on a bench all night until the following day.
Maybe they can't afford private care.
Oh, well then in that case, all the best to you. Well, I certainly would not have wanted to do this without somebody by my side. And I'm especially happy to know that that somebody is this baby girl right here.
You're sweet.
Yeah, but I got some advice from somebody back in our dating phase. And I wanted to share that advice with those of you guys who might be in a committed relationship or might be considering getting into a committed relationship. And that's just to say that, listen, if you're considering settling down with somebody to do life with, like big and serious, give it serious thought and consideration, it might very well be the best decision you could ever make. Because I'm
too tired for the mush.
No, but honestly guys, like, my favorite part of the day is coming home, and not because I get to come home to an empty house. I know what that's like too, and I didn't like that part of it, coming home to an empty house. No, but because I'm coming home to my person, you know. What my friend had said to me at the time, I think this might be a little better. What my friend
Obviously, David here. We never planned it. We're actually really tired. I am really tired. The angles aren't good. The lighting is horrible. But it is what it is, guys.
Yeah. So my friend had said to me that, you know, internship, which is, for those of you guys who like know us personally, I'm doing internship right now, and internship is probably the roughest year of your medical training. And he had said to me, yo, internship is not easy, and it's 10 times harder if you attempt to do it alone. But when you have somebody by your side, it makes it just this much more bearable.
Aww.
And that was really good advice. So I kind of want to give the same advice to those of you guys who are in that kind of pivotal moment where, you know, you're considering settling down and and especially within the context of getting married, like enter prayerfully into a consideration about the pros and cons of marriage, and also get pre-engagement counseling. Like we've spoken about it before, you know, kind of mentioned it in passing, and we promised you guys a video on it at some point. We are still going to do our pre-engagement counseling video. I think it's one of the best things that ever happened to us. But I'm saying all of that to say that it brought us to a place where even though we're beat down and life is popping us down left, right and center, we have each other and we are doing life together and against the world, you know. And that sense of solace and of peace is really what happens when you've found your person, you've strategically gone through the process, and then you can reap the rewards of that, which is knowing that you have somebody to do life with. It's a lot better having a hard life that's not lonely than living a lonely life.
Good point. That's tweetable.
That's tweetable. At the point of recording this video, it's almost 11 o'clock at night. I had a long day at work. Zara also had a really long day at work, on the road, coming for me, all kinds of things. And sometimes we don't capture that part of our life. It's a lot less glamorous than some of the things that we actually share, but it still exists. And we wanted to give you guys a real appreciation for the fact that life is out here lifing, and you have to kind of be willing to go through all the cycles and the seasons in life, because after winter comes spring. So, right? Spring. Yeah.
And life is life is not like a real saying, guys, for those who aren't like Jamaicans.
Like Jamaicans.
Yeah.
Okay, when we say life is life, what does it mean, baby?
Because you don't know, you just hear me say it. It just means that a lot of things are going on and a rough period, you know. Just a rough period.
So lesson number 1. Even when life is rough, it's best to rough it out together. Like, loneliness is not something you want to be encountering in addition to all the other things, right? Yeah. But during your loneliest times, like, consider the fact that God is with you. Like, actually stop and think about that, because back before, you know, we got married, back in my single days, I had periods like this as well. Obviously, you know, we're going to sermon and we're going to move on past them just the same as we did previously. But during these rough patches, I had to really lean on the fact that God was with me. And thankfully, baby girl was with me from a distance most times, you know, on the phone and so on. But just that reminder that God is in fact with you is really very, very comforting.
Yeah, I mean, we have a video on I have a video on the channel about loneliness and how you can deal with loneliness as a Christian. So I do encourage you to check that out if that's something that you're dealing with. Your person who is like your person who you can hang out with or kind of feel that, but it doesn't have to be like somebody you're married to. And in that video, I go on to express the different ways you can combat that loneliness as a Christian. So for me, lesson number 3 would be accepting where you are in your journey and learning just how to cope with it, because this season for me has been a lot of you're not enough moments, you know. And I mean, I do a lot. I have a very full plate,
trust me,
and a lot.
She's like superwoman out here.
No, not really. I guess I take on more than I can manage, but I tend to have a lot of kind of places to be all at once, and I always feel like I'm never enough for each place, if you get what I'm saying. Get a lot of guilt from that, like I'm never enough for my friends, I'm never enough for my family, I'm never enough for YouTube, I'm never enough as a wife. Like there are a lot of inadequacies and feelings of insecurity that come up when you feel like you're not doing enough. But the truth is, there are only 24 hours in a day, and kind of learning how to navigate this new season as I try to kind of shift focus and prioritize certain things, and understanding that ultimately I can't do everything, and it's okay, and there is no timeline on what things are supposed to look like or how things are supposed to look, because your life is kind of different. And like this week was one of those weeks where I was kind of having like what you call it, like a quarter life crisis, I don't know, where I look at my colleagues and the people who I graduate from law school with, and obviously I still practice law, but I don't practice law in a very traditional way. And like, I'm not in an office every day, I'm not in a big firm, I don't go to court. And every now and again, I kind of sit back and I was like, is this something that I want to do? Is it something that I should be doing? But why should I be doing it? Should I be doing it because Zara genuinely wants to do it, or should I be doing it because you feel like that's what society wants from me, kind of thing? So I've constantly had to kind of revisit my why this week, and learning how to deal with those feelings of insecurity and learning just how to be content. As it relates to work, like, work doesn't really bother me that much because I really love what I do, and I love the different facets of what I do, which is legal work, doing the business, and content creation. Like, I really love doing that. I pour into everything. Like, this week I was doing some legal work and I was like, wow, I forgot that sometimes I forget how much I like law. Every time I do an area of law that I genuinely appreciate and I go, yeah, this is why I do what I do. But then you have a full day of running 3 businesses, and then you have a husband, and if it was me alone, me eat like a cereal and I go to my bed. But then I have to know things.
Then you know there I do big wife things.
Yeah, and then when I don't get to do it, I genuinely have guilt. Like, I feel really bad. Yeah. And like, I never plan to cry. I never do. But like, feeling like I fail you, and I don't want to feel like I fail you. But then also understand that I can't do everything. I just can't do everything. And Xaundre always tries to reassure me and say, you're doing fine and stuff. I don't know if any like new wives or people who just got married can relate. But you think, like, I work from home, but I'm not a stay-at-home wife. You get me? So
yes, I get it.
Yes, I work remotely.
Because you work full-time even though you're remote.
I work full-time.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to do everything and still trying to maintain your relationships outside of this relationship is really difficult. Like, I haven't had a good conversation with anybody other than Xaundre and my mother in weeks, because I just don't have the capacity, and with everything that every area of my life gets from me, I just feel so inadequate, So this week was a lot of dealing with that and kind of going through that existential, quarter life crisis, and saying, but God, you brought me here for a reason. And I mean, I know that the way I do wifing, or the type of wife I am, might not look like the type of wife my aunties are, or the type of wife your auntie was, or what your mother was, whatever. Like, I might not be that person. You might, some even you come in, you have to eat crackers and sausage, and you have to go grab a ramen or a cereal, and
good thing I don't.
But like, I struggle with it, because at the end of the day, I also want to be a homemaker. Sometimes I just don't have the capacity, So yeah, I know I went on a whole ramble by something that's been on my heart, because that balance is necessary, because I do have a genuine desire to do all of those things, but then I also want to be a boss babe. I want to be that. So unlearning all of that and like expectations, that's been weighing on me a lot.
Guys, this was not one of the lessons, right? But just help me reassure her, please, that she's doing a great job and that she should stop being so hard on herself. And she does so much.
All of those things,
while running 3 businesses, quite literally. Like she's amazing. She does incredible things. And I mean, you see, while it weighs on her that she hasn't been keeping up with a lot of the relationships and so on, to be honest, I still have birthday messages to read and reply to. And my birthday was over a month ago. I guess I've just made peace with that, you know. But the reality of it is that there's a lot to do, and I'm not going to, you know, pretend like I don't have my own feelings of inadequacy too, because as the provider, I want to make sure that our budget is in order. I want to make sure that we are bringing in enough money to take care of the family.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Xaundre is a big help, and I think that's one of the other lessons that we've learned, that our marriage and the way we choose to live our life.
Hey, that was my own.
That was your own.
Yeah. Can I say?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so lesson number 4. The way your marriage looks, the way my marriage looks, and the way their marriage looks don't have to all be the same way. No two marriages will look exactly the same way, and I wanted to take this opportunity just to deal with this idea of gender roles.
Or your relationship if you're not married.
If you're not married, yeah. We're very traditional when it comes down to gender roles.
Pretty traditional.
Yeah. By and large, I believe that it's largely my responsibility. Okay, so we believe more in the person who should account for that aspect of our existence, and not necessarily the one who's supposed to do all the work in that department.
Right.
So for example, being the provider for the household, I think that is primarily my responsibility. Now Zara obviously works, and we'll tell you one day how we divide up our budget and stuff like that. And then wherever one person just can't stretch go so far, then the other person just picks up the slack. And there is no like dogmatism. Is dogmatism a word? I don't know, guys. It's 11 o'clock in the night.
There's no, Xaundre will come home from a long day of work and still cook, because I've also had a long day. You know, so there is no like, because you're the female, you have to do. No. So you kind of understand that that's kind of where what you're responsible for, you know, just so you can have good delegation.
Exactly. That's really what it comes down to. But we tweak it based on our interests, what we're good at, and really just what's working at the time.
Yeah. It is okay to be disappointed as a Christian, and what will set us apart is how we deal with those disappointments. So, you know, when it comes to business,
what is a disappointment, or how does a disappointment come about?
When expectations are not met.
So there are 2 components to being disappointed. You first have to have an expectation, and then the expectation needs to not be met. And if any of them is out of whack, they end up, you know, being disappointed. But go ahead, baby.
Right. And I think sometimes as Christians, because we kind of live this God will work it out life, when he doesn't work it out in a way that we think that he should work it out, then we get disappointed and kind of go in our shell, because God, how could you promised me this? And I think especially when you not really live in the let's say live in the life of social media, and live in the era of timelines and the fast lane, you feel like you should be at a certain phase in life right now, or you should be accomplishing certain things. And the truth is, like, you might be out there looking at me and you feel like, or us, and you feel like, oh, they have their life,
they have it all together, you know.
But because of the expectation that we would have had, we're nowhere where we thought that we would be. And it can get a little disappointing. And I mean, I think for a while I kind of fought with it, because, you know, it's not okay to be disappointed, because you should trust in God. But it is okay to be disappointed, because it's human and it's natural. But how do you deal with the disappointment? You just kind of recoup, you recover, you admit that you're disappointed, and you talk to God about how we can move forward from this disappointment, and how you are going to now shift focus and maybe make a new plan if you need to re-strategize. So that's something I've been learning how to do.
So guys, even though it's like the middle of the night, right, we realize that you guys benefit a lot from these videos when we post them, and it's in an attempt to do an unselfish thing while we are recording this video, because as you can see, we probably much prefer to be sleeping right now. but it's all about adding value to, you know, to everybody who kind of is on the journey with us. And you guys are on the journey with us, so you see our highs, so we also want you to see our lows, and to help us as we learn and grow together, because we're hoping that our experiences will help you in much the same way that I'm sure your experiences can help us. So let us know in the comments down below, you know, what your thoughts are on how you guys do life, and just be respectful with it, you know. Also we want you guys to know that when you like, subscribe, and share these videos, they go to help even more people, especially our young people. Like, we love you guys who are aunties, we love you guys very much, but predominantly the people who benefit from these, you know, in terms of practical implementation, predominantly our young people. So make sure you share it with people who look and sound a lot like us. So I actually have 2 more just before we wrap up, right? All right, so this one is, you know, you've heard it a million times. It has been said a million different ways. Some people say no pain, no gain. Some people say struggles are inevitable. Some people say you have to struggle to learn. You can say it a whole heap of different ways. But the core principle remains the same. If you think you're going to live a life without struggles, you are setting up yourself for failure.
Yeah.
And I think our perspective on that is the fact that we kind of expect life to throw things at us. We expect things to get hard, we expect things to get rough, we expect that at some points we're going to be super exhausted and really burnt out, and we want to quit or want to not be consistent, and, you know, stuff like that. If you think that we're not ever going to find ourselves in that situation, then when you inevitably find yourself in that situation, you'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
And you're also going to have a much harder time getting out. But if you kind of maintain that perspective that struggles are here to make you stronger, then you'll come out better on the other side.
That's true. And also just living every day like every day is a miracle, and living every day.
Oh, we learned that
from
in the movie.
Yeah, and just basically trying to go through life knowing that God's plan is greater for your life. Even if your plan doesn't work out, we can't see the bigger picture. And something that we always pray for, prayer has always been, God, at this point we don't need to see the bigger picture, because we know that if we see the bigger picture, then we won't need to have faith in you anymore, because we will now try to run with this bigger picture because we won't need to trust you. But all we want to know is where to put our feet next. Where should I step next?
My last point, guys, is that life is always better than you think it is.
Yeah.
Life is always better than you think it is.
That is true.
And
perspective.
In fact, let me say that again, or differently. Perspective is... How do I say that without saying a hell of a thing?
I have another thing.
Perspective can be a heaven of a thing. No, and what I mean by that is, like, look at your life and just be grateful for the things that you have, the place that you are in life, and what you're able to do, and you will realize very quickly that there are people around you who are worse off. Like, there are people who would kill to be in your position.
Even when we talk about like our issues, I'm sure it sounds like first world problems to some people. Or like they're saying, really, that's an issue for you?
And then we look at people in a position that we'd like to be in 10 years. And what gets them is that they're thinking about, you know, almost like saving the world kind of problems.
And all in all, like, as we would have said in the last video, we're pretty content. And that's the thing, like, being content should not be separated from the fact that you still have struggles.
Exactly.
They're not.
That's a good point.
They're not separate.
Exactly.
So yeah, some days you have crappy days, like today was a crappy day. So yeah, you have bad days, but it doesn't mean that you're not in a state of contentment. You'll always have seasons that even if the entire season is good, some issues, there are some issues in there, because you know, it's just all a part of life.
It's really just how life is. And with this way of thinking that has been popularized by social media, and obviously I'm not bashing social media or anything.
You're barely addict.
I mean, it's not a priority in my life, but it has done good things for us through Zara's presence on social media. I'm not opposed to it, don't get me wrong. It's just not a priority for me. But I do think that in a lot of ways social media has kind of glamorized reality, so much so that it makes only a glamorous reality seem desirable. But when you think about people who you'd really like to be like, you'll realize that these people never got to where they are without struggles. I also want to kind of fix you guys' perspective on this video itself, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there now so sorry for us, and we appreciate your empathy as we go through a rough time. But don't think that we need to be bailed out necessarily. Like, sometimes you have to kick a bird out of his nest and say, go and fly.
It's a part of
it's really just a part of life, you know. So it's not that we need to be cushioned. Sometimes you have to be allowed to go through the struggles. It's one of the reasons why military training is so good, because it throws you in deep end and it says swim, and that's kind of just how life is. It's a rough patch followed by
good patch.
If it is rough, smooth sailing. Rough patch followed by smooth sailing.
That's why you can't understand the differences, because if you don't have smooth, or you're gonna know when you're rough.
Yep. And we just want to balance the perspectives a little and show you that life is not always smooth
and it's hard for the young people them in Jamaica.
Alright, back to Zara's Jamaica, state of Jamaica point, right?
Jamaica number 2 a brain drain. I see it in the news. That's not really exactly what the article said, but yeah, I mean, I just think it's so, like, you can't, how hard it is to get a mortgage as how long you have to wait to get a mortgage in Jamaica? Crazy.
And guys, perspective is what we talk about all the time. Compare Jamaica to doing business in the US, Jamaica seems terrible.
You compare the US to somewhere like Germany?
Compare the US to Germany. And then compare Jamaica to somewhere like Somalia. Like, no offense to you if you're from Somalia, but you're just talking about infrastructural development, right? Or even Haiti. Like, I know people personally who are from Haiti. They're not necessarily bad people, but the reality of it is that it's just a lot harder to.
But babe, enough people come to Jamaica, like, for better opportunities, and them pop barrel and say, like, Jamaica them foreign. Let me say, Jamaica here. You're telling me that you
left your place,
come to this place, and this place is foreign to you, but it is what it is. So it's all relative. It's all relative. It's all perspective. I could go on and on and on. And anybody who wants to be a part of the brain drain, I'm the first one to tell you to go. I'm a very big advocate. My friends know. I'm a very big advocate for the brain drain.
Perspective, because when you join the brain drain and you leave Jamaica and you go out, most times you leave family back home and then you send remittances for them. So in a lot of ways you still contribute to the Jamaican economy. So it's not all bad. Plus, Jamaica can still be a good place for you. Like, don't think that Jamaica is void of opportunity. It's just all relative. The point that I'm making is that life is hard. And at each step of the way, life is going to come with its own unique set of struggles.
Run away, birdie.
Birdies don't run away, they fly away.
Fly away, birdie. Oh, run. Cheetah. Monkey. Donkey. You know, the animal is so good. It's supposed to be a sober video. Thank you for listening to us talk.
Hey guys, all in all, we hope you will have a blessed Sabbath. Zara and I will definitely be trying as well our very best to have a blessed Sabbath. We know this video is a lot different from our usual videos. However, we hope you'll still find it useful, that some things will be there that you can relate with, and that we can learn and grow together, And
you still like and share it.
Yes.
So other people can see it.
And whatever video brought you to our channel in the first place, remember to share that as well with anybody that you think can benefit from the content that we share.
Yeah, definitely. And we look forward to creating more and, continuing to contribute to this community. So,
yeah. Blessings, guys. So, as we go to bed now, we will just tell you guys that we'll see you next time on Adventures of XYZ. Bye, guys.